I'm Biresh Banerjee. Welcome. A woman in the U.S. state of Minnesota has died after she was shot by a federal officer during an immigration raid. The city's mayor described her killing as reckless and unnecessary. The incident has sparked vigils and protests.
A video filmed by an eyewitness captured the moments before a federal immigration agent opened fire, killing a 37-year-old woman in her car in Minneapolis. The incident happened during a large-scale immigration crackdown carried out by federal authorities in the city. Officials allege the agent acted to protect his life.
ICE agents repeatedly ordered her to get out of the car and to stop obstructing law enforcement, but she refused to obey their commands. She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle, and she attempted to run a law enforcement officer over. This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents, an act of domestic terrorism.
President Donald Trump has backed that account, saying on Truth Social that the ICE officer seems to have shot her in self-defense. But local leaders strongly dispute that version of events. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey is demanding ICE leave the city.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bull. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed.
The shooting quickly drew a large crowd of angry protesters. It is at least the fifth killing linked to immigration crackdowns since 2024. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz also condemned the incident and warned that the intensified raids are putting public safety at risk.
We've been warning for weeks that the Trump administration's dangerous, sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety, that someone was going to get hurt.
Look, this was totally predictable, as I said it yesterday, and it was totally avoidable.
Protests are likely to continue, while the shooting is being investigated by the FBI and the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension.
For more on this, we can speak to Scott Lucas, a professor of American Studies at the Clinton Institute at the University College Dublin. Scott, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem called it an act of domestic terrorism. The city's mayor called it a reckless use of power. How are these competing narratives playing out on the ground and on social media?
Well, before talking about how narratives are playing out, it is important to state the facts precisely and clearly as we know them. Renee Nicole Good, 37 years old, the mother of a 6-year-old child, lived with her partner in Minneapolis, a few blocks from where this incident occurred. She was there watching what happened as ICE agents were trying to detain people. When an ICE agent went and put his hand on the door of her car and started yelling at her, she tried to drive away. At that time, she was shot in the head 3 or 4 times by an unidentified ICE agent and killed. From the video and the witness statements, Renee Nicole Good was not ramming her vehicle at anyone. She was turning away from the ICE officers as she tried to drive away from the scene. And that is when she is shot. There is no evidence that she was a domestic terrorist. She was a poet. She was someone who described herself as strumming the guitar badly. She was well liked by neighbors. She leaves behind her child, her partner, and her mother.
I mean, this investigation is yet sort of really take off because an investigation has been promised by local authorities, aided by federal officials. So we're still awaiting an official result over there. So maybe it's a little premature to establish facts in the way one sees them. But I just did want to ask you...
Let me
Can I just ask you
Let
another
me just say
question?
something about this.
Go on.
Okay, well, let me just say it very quickly, and that is, look, it is absolutely right that an investigation needs to be established, a formal investigation. That is why the statement by Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Secretary, was so out of order. Only minutes after the incident, without any investigation, without any attempt to establish the facts, she prejudged this as an act of domestic terrorism and smeared the name of the victim. You were absolutely right. An investigation is absolutely is essential before misleading narratives were put out. And in this case, the initial misleading narrative was from the Department of Homeland Security.
Okay, we're talking about in excess of 2,000 federal officers that have been deployed to Minneapolis and also the Twin City of St. Paul. Why such a large number of federal officers, and what does that say about the Trump administration's strategy to crack down on illegal immigration?
Because, and we have seen this in city after city, we have seen it in Los Angeles, we have seen it in Portland, we have seen it in Memphis, Tennessee. The strategy is to flood the area and to sweep up immigrants, both undocumented immigrants and in some cases legal immigrants. It is to do it with vast numbers of masked, unidentified officers so that you intimidate communities so that there is no resistance to hit that target, which has been set by Donald Trump's key advisor, Stephen Miller, of thousands, tens of thousands of people on a daily and then a weekly basis. In other words, the issue here is that the Trump administration strategy is to defy any attempt at the legal process and accountability. They have repeatedly been challenged in the courts. They have been repeatedly told by state and local officials, do this properly, but they don't wish to do this properly. The idea is to just simply carry out these sweeps and to try to effectively intimidate people into leaving the country. And if they won't leave, then they will be detained, often without legal process.
We'll leave it there for the moment. Scott Lucas, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.